What's up? Welcome to Pick 10. Tweeting out the link myself right now. Live now. There we go. Brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. TD, Tutty, taking it to the house. In for 6. Whatever you call a touchdown, one thing's for sure. Touchdowns matter more at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. On the ground, in the air, from special teams or defense. We don't care how they score them. We want to bet on touchdowns, and DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to bet on touchdowns. Ready to place your first NFL bet? Try betting on simple like a player to score a touchdown. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your bet today. I like Shakir plus 270 tonight.
Love that.
You got Josh Allen. You got A-Chain. There's a lot of available odds via DraftKings. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets instantly and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PICKCENTRAL. That's code PICKCENTRAL for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Myself, Marty Smitty. Brad, my name is Rico. It's very nice to meet you.
What's happening,
What's going on? I've been traveling. I know you've been very vocal. Where is this guy? I heard all the shots. I've been traveling. First 2 weeks. I know it's not ideal time, but been traveling. You're my guy.
Wait,
we're happy to get you back.
Brad, don't. I already told him yesterday, if your pick loses this week, he's off the show.
Yes. Would you like me to switch seats? Would that make you more comfortable?
No. I mean, if it loses, we can't have you on the show.
All right.
Yeah, because let me tell you, these picks are the best thing happening to me right now. So let's keep that happening.
How does it work, Brad? Are you getting the Barstool bump late at night with the followers? Is that working for you?
Oh, am I? Sometimes I'm not up that late, man.
All right.
So
I'm hoping
we'll see what happens if they start losing.
I'm hoping they show you respect.
I know how you guys are over there.
Yeah, I hope they show you the respect. Let's
flavor of the month or the exact time it's happening good. Then they really go down fast.
Not a great slate of games to watch, so to speak, but that doesn't knock off the ability to bet on them. We'll get into all those, but let's start with Notre Dame. A dismal loss last week to Northern Illinois. Can they afford a second loss and still make the playoff?
No, they're out if they lose another game. So they got to win out to get in. They're not going to win out. I mean, SC looks better than expected. And when you lose as a 28-point favorite, no game is safe. So, I mean, the reality is they went from everyone saying they're a shoe-in to now they're basically out. One game. One play. Marcus Freeman likes to say one play, one life. I mean, that just shows you right there.
Not good.
No, you still have the future. Right?
Yeah, first week I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing of all time.
You were sitting pretty.
And then I'm looking last week, they looked fucking like dog shit, dude. It's embarrassing. And you're right, they're not going to win out. They might have 3 losses at the end of the year.
They might lose Saturday.
Yeah.
They got to figure it out at quarterback. If Riley Leonard plays, I don't know if they win the game. I don't think he's healthy. If he can't throw and he's not healthy enough to run, I don't know why he's playing.
Yeah. All right, let's start with tonight. This Texas State team, Smitty mentioned to me, he gave me a little bit of a tidbit. You're high on them in the preseason? You have them to make the playoff?
Yeah, I bet them to make the playoff. I think if they win tonight, you might want to jump on board them to make the playoff because they're going to be favored in every game from here on out if they win tonight. So it's an explosive team you'll see tonight. But, I mean, Arizona State's looked pretty good, too.
They have.
So I don't think there's a high value pick tonight. I think it's just it's going to be a really fun college football game to watch.
Yeah.
I love that, especially on I mean, I know there's an NFL game tonight.
I like 2 screens, though.
Yeah,
it is.
What
we got going.
Exactly. It's a nice little, like, change up.
Yeah. And I think the best games of the weekend are Friday night. You have a play in UNLV, Kansas, or Arizona, Kansas State. The line seems to be jumping on Arizona, or why? Like that line screams Arizona. But is it such an overreaction, or is it such a big line that it actually is? You should be playing Kansas State as the smart play. I can't make a read on that game.
Well, I haven't liked what I've seen from either team so far. I mean, neither one's covered the spread so far this season. So, but with that being said, short week. I just trust Kansas State's run game more than anything. I mean, I know no one's watched it, but Arizona's been pretty bad. In fact, they've been outscored in each of the first 2. Have you combined their score the first 2 halves against New Mexico and Northern Arizona? They've been outscored in the first half as a 4 and 5 touchdown favorite. So I have not liked what I've seen whatsoever out of Arizona. I lean Kansas State. I prefer Kansas in the other game. I like the Jayhawks to bounce back after a loss to Illinois last week.
I like the over in that UNLV Kansas game. Marty, you have a game you want to touch on?
Well, yeah, I mean, I like to try and speak for the casual viewers sometimes, and the slate for the casual viewers is not great again, because the best is, like Rico said, Friday, and then Boston College, Mizzou. And then what? And
you got some weird ones. You got the Civil War, and you got the Apple Cup.
But like Boston College is to me is a fun team for me this year. I like watching them. My brother worked the game last week. They won like 70-0. But like Mizzou's minus 16. How do you feel about that game?
I lean BC. I think what they're doing offensively is repeatable week after week. I like what they scheme up under Bill O'Brien. Believe it or not, they got a mobile quarterback. I think their offensive line is one of the better ones, at least one of the more underrated ones in the entire country. They're super experienced. I lean them. Missouri's played a couple tomato cans, so I know they haven't given up a point yet, but again, Buffalo and Murray State doesn't wow me. So
yeah,
I lean BC. I haven't made a big bet though.
But the one team that also I wanted to bring up that is so frustrating because there's so many expectations, and each week their offense does not look good. It's Oregon. They're 2-0 obviously, but they played dog shit teams. Oregon State, which that was the bet last week, right?
Oregon State.
Yeah, that was the one that we hit. Yeah. So I watched that game, and do you think Oregon State's live here?
Well, I don't know if they're live. They're not explosive enough offensively. That would worry me. But I think they're tough enough at the line of scrimmage on both sides, and that's been Oregon's problem. Particularly, Oregon State should be able to get pressure on Gabriel. That Oregon offensive line needs work. And let's be frank, they've been fortunate to be 2-0. I mean, they scored 2, kickoff return touchdown, a punt return touchdown just to beat Boise on the final play of the game last week. So I If I got a 17, I'll bet Oregon State. The early money this week, again, like last week's on Oregon. I'm anxious to see if the late week, the big money, when the big time players come in, if they're going to be fading Oregon. I mean, this team just doesn't look right.
Yeah, that was a weird one that jumped out to me as well.
They're confusing because all you hear is Gabriel. Everyone's gonna.
I had him to win the title. Yeah, I mean,
everyone's title talk, and then like in the first game, like all right, maybe it was a fluke, and then the second game, it's like this team might just fucking stink.
It might stink. Yeah, something jump out to you, Smitty?
We're going to talk about Texas State and GJ Kennedy tonight, but do you like them at all tonight? Or are you just sitting back and watching? And
I'm sitting back. I mean, I made it like Arizona State too, so just sitting back. I'm hoping they win because I'll start looking smart because I was the one guy that said in the preseason, bet this team to make the playoff. I think it was 16-1. So if there's a certain book, DraftKings or any of the other books out there that still hang that playoff odds up after tonight and they're winning, might make yourself a good bet because this is their toughest game left on the schedule.
Dukes.
Brad Dukes back here. Virginia, Maryland. Virginia's catching +2.5. People are looking at a bounce back spot for Maryland. Who do you like in this one?
I like the over. Maryland's offense is better than expected. You're right. I mean, they shouldn't have lost that game again. They really blew that game in the fourth quarter against Michigan State. Virginia, opposite in the fourth quarter. They rally from 13 down and win. That screams Maryland to me, but it's right around my power rating. I did bet the over, and there was some steam on the over yesterday.
Yeah, I think that I was in my head thinking Virginia at home catching 2.5, just like your classic, like less than 3.
Wait for a 3, you might get a
right,
3.
Exactly. I like the over again. Like I talked about Calandria last week. He's an absolute gunslinger.
You love that guy.
Oh, he all the talent in the world. Not so much the brains.
That's usually not great.
Yeah. He's a gunslinger. He's very exciting to watch. Like you could look up and be like, "Holy shit!" Like why? How did Virginia land this guy? His arm talent's absurd, but sometimes his decision making.
He'd fit in. He'd fit in here.
I have one more question about the Michigan-Texas game. Yeah. Do you think Texas is really good, or do you think Michigan's is just that bad? Like, I think obviously Texas is good. I think that's an obvious thing, but like
it's a little bit of both.
I think it's a little bit of both too. I think Michigan looks so bad on offense. Like they couldn't get. I don't think they're going to score a touchdown against any team. They're so bad on offense. It's horrible. Like, but do you think Texas is like a top 3 team?
I mean, you got to put them in the top 3. I mean, that performance, especially in the first half, was dominant. So, I mean, obviously, you go Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, probably Texas 3 at this point. Although Tennessee looks pretty good.
They look exciting.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a bunch of teams being like back. I know Texas made the playoff last year. We were saying this. It could be a lot of fun with USC, Tennessee, Miami, and Texas all hanging around the playoff or all in the playoff.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Texas made it last year, you got to believe them probably the most. And they went on the road and did what they did against Michigan. I guess the most shocking thing to me in that game was Texas's offensive line manhandling the Michigan defensive front in the first half, did whatever they wanted. I thought the Michigan offense would struggle. I didn't think Texas go up and down the field like they did in that first half the way they did. So, yeah, I mean, I feel this though, that with this year, just when you're ready to, just when you think you know the answers, the question gets turned. Some team, Notre Dame, they're in the playoff the very next week. Nope, they're out of the playoff. I mean, Penn State almost lost. Alabama was struggling. Oklahoma almost lost the freaking Houston. So I don't know. Outside of Georgia and Ohio State, I'm not sure there's a great team this year. And I didn't like what I saw from Texas in the second half. I bet them, live in the game. This will just continue. I mean, I didn't see Michigan stopping them. And they didn't do anything in the second half, so that bothered me a little bit. I lost a bet on the Longhorns' second half play.
And that was my next question. So for the national championship, Georgia's +280 right now, Ohio State's +380. Is there anybody else right now worth even thinking about to get maybe some long value? Or, I mean, Georgia +280, Ohio State +3, or Georgia +280, Ohio State +380. Like, is that just going to go where it is or down? Or is there anybody else?
Good question. I mean, there's markets out there where you can bet like Georgia and Ohio State versus the field. I kind of like that one, probably better. Instead of giving you like a team that's going to win the championship, I'll give you 2 that I think is pretty reasonable to make the playoff. Miami and Tennessee are relatively cheap. I think -150 or less on both teams. I think look at the schedules. I mean, how do these teams lose 3 games and not make the playoffs? In Miami's case, they're going to be favored in every game. I mean, they're superior to anybody in the ACC. Even if they lost a game, they'd still make it. It's 12 teams. So I like those 2 teams right now to make the playoff.
You were mentioning like how Penn State struggled, Alabama struggled, like huge schools, Oklahoma struggling. Do you think like the NIL and like these transfers are all these not mid-teams because of Houston, but like other teams are catching up to the big schools in the SEC and the Big 12 because of they can actually get other players with their booster money and stuff? Or is that just like this year's just weird?
I need more data. I mean, this is still
right.
relatively new, NIL and the portal. You know, on one hand, it tells me like you watch Northern Illinois, and then I heard in the broadcast of the BG game, it was actually James Franklin saying, "Hey, we just played a team that had 32 seniors in Bowling Green in the 2 deep." So I think if you're a group of 5 team, you get old, you stay old.
Yeah,
you hear that in college basketball a lot.
That's what I was
and you see, you see the mold teams. I mean, that played together for a couple of years. I think that's advantageous compared to a team that's built together in one off season via the portal. And I'm just other thing is, you're handing 19-year-old kids, 6 figures. I mean, there probably isn't a focus level like there or attention to detail like there was in the past.
I had zero money in college.
Get them going.
I had zero money in college. I had no attention span either. And I got $100. I'd be like, I'm rich as fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
How the hell are they living life in college when they have millions of dollars?
Interesting
It's
time.
crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying about college basketball. Like sometimes these old teams add one NIL guy that's from another team that's a senior as well. Like I just feel like some teams are catching up to the.
I also think it takes, like you talked about turnover with a roster. It might take a little while for a USC
Good point,
100%.
Rico.
and LSU get going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're managing all these personalities to put them together. It might take 3-4 weeks before you really see what they're doing, or they might not just manage. It's a lot of divas in a locker room, and it might not work.
And it's these guys are still getting used to a different play calling, a different
100%.
plays. Like it definitely takes time.
100%.
That was a huge Bosco W. I completely agree. Like a team like LSU that's not great in the beginning of the season. You could see them later on if they get into the playoff as like an 8 seed by the end of the year. If they're peaking at the right time, maybe that's what
Yeah,
we'll
it just
see
takes a little
eventually.
while to
Yeah,
get going.
Good point.
You touched on Bama struggling. I have Bama as probably I don't love the board this week, but I have Bama as my biggest play. I've watched Wisconsin. What? I think it's
It's just a big road favorite.
Oh man,
That's on brand for you. But
that reaction was
talk
magnificent.
me out of it. Talk me why you like Wisconsin.
I'm not going to talk you out of it because I don't see, from a power ratings aspect, I certainly lean Wisconsin, but this isn't your typical Wisconsin. I mean, with a great offensive line and an explosive running back. So I don't disagree with you in that regard. I laugh because it's
because you've gotten those texts over the years. He's gotten those
Let's take
texts.
the big road favorite.
He's gotten those
that's
texts.
so on brand for you.
And I won't lie, Rico, I love Alabama too. So
Exactly. Like I could be a square and be right maybe once. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But Brad has gotten those texts like on Tuesday at like 3:30 in the morning or a.m. when we're up researching. I'll be like, talk me out of Tulane. Tell me why. Like they're at 6.
I don't get them as much anymore.
I know. Because we got you on Thursdays now. So like
Yeah,
I could pick your brain in person, and we would lose the context of it. All right, give me a couple of outright dogs to look at.
Purdue, I think's live at +10. If you're looking for that, another one that I think is pretty sneaky. Not that they're live, but I think they covered. I like Central Michigan against Illinois. It's a classic inside-out handicap. Central Michigan -6 in turnovers last week. Illinois off an upset. I mean, they celebrated like they won the title. They stormed the field because they beat Kansas. They were +3 in turnovers, and that game didn't deserve to win it, in my opinion. So, noon slate, I kind of like Central Michigan. Again, I think Purdue can beat Notre Dame. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's no, those are the 2 that jump out to me.
Okay.
What about UNLV? I just saw the line jumped a little
I
bit.
think he likes Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Kansas a little bit. You're not alone, though. There's quite a look. I'm here. I mean, this is probably the best UNLV team ever. But I would have liked UNLV had Kansas won last week, not lost to Illinois.
Same.
Situational spot.
Yeah.
Speaking of another road favorite, talk to me about this kid at Florida, the new quarterback. I like A&M. I'm buying the hype of Florida with the tough schedule. Billy Napier is probably going to get fired by Columbus Day or Halloween, the latest. I like A&M. I kind of like what I saw at Elko. Talk me out of A&M.
I don't know yet because I mean they lost to Notre Dame, so I'm just like,
Yeah.
I mean that looks horrible after
Yeah.
1 week. The fact that they lost at home to the Irish. So I mean I hear you. I lean A&M. This week is a week where we don't have a lot of marquee matchups. We've got a lot of solid matchups. We're gonna figure out what these teams are because I got one good data point, one bad data point on a majority of these teams, even at the top. So I agree with you though. I'm not buying Florida. I think if they lose this game, it could really start going sour. But I lean A&M.
You guys are
I haven't
nuts.
betted yet though, Rigo.
I'm all.
You love them road favorites, man. You just love them.
He does. I'm all over. What's his name? Lagway.
I think so.
Yeah, DJ Lagway. He looks good.
I'm all over this guy. He's going to save Florida. They're going to win this game.
We'll
Because
see.
they beat Samford.
Yeah. Oh no, I watched a TikTok hype video on him in high school, and it was unbelievable. I like it.
He is a good prospect.
He's
They have
exciting.
to play him for the future. I'm sure Napier's got somebody in his ear. Play the freshman.
Have to. You can't. What is it? Mertz still going out
Yeah,
there?
Mertz is hurt,
You
though.
can't. I know he's hurt, but you can't.
You'll see both on Saturday probably.
Oh, really? I didn't think Mertz was
Yeah.
playing.
I hate that.
Yeah, I don't like if you have two quarterbacks, you only don't really have one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I like that. Colorado State, Colorado. Just in general, doesn't it seem like there's a lot of baggage out there at Colorado? Like every week, Deion's got something going on, and he's friends with everybody here. It's what Dave said on Pick'em. He's like, "Can we stop blogging about him like every 5 seconds?" But they're giving him the bulletin board material. It's Shiloh. It's the other son leaving, Shador leaving, the rap song, which may or may not be true. Like you don't know anymore. It's a true tabloid out there. What effect does that have on the Colorado State game? Because Colorado State, after last year, is going to be coming for blood.
Yeah, and this is the first time Colorado State's hosted Colorado since '96. So it's been a long time. They'll be fired up. I don't know if they got enough athletes on the back end though to defend Colorado's passing offense. So that worries me there. But I don't think it's a high value pick. It's always you wait for the Colorado money to show in the market, and then if you want to fade it, wait until kickoff because it seems even the last couple of weeks, so much money on game day on Colorado. Maybe it stops showing up because people get tired of losing. You would think at some point, but I really don't have a play in the game. I hope Colorado loses, to be honest with you, because I bet under their win total. And I will say this. If they lose this game, it's over. I mean, in dumpster fire. I'm talking 2-10, 3-9 type of season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
it's possible. You got anything else?
No, I'm
Dying for the pick.
ready for the pick.
Dying for the pick.
I have
yeah,
one.
you got one.
I
more.
have
notes
I have a
ready.
road favorite that I'm looking at but not sure on. It's South Florida.
I bet them, but it was a numbers play at single digits, not the double digit. I just worry. They put a lot in that Alabama game. I know the final doesn't look whatever. I mean, it was a 5-point game with 6 minutes left in it, and they probably should have been up at that time. Their quarterback missed a bunch of open receivers. I just worry at the physical toll of playing like an Alabama the week after, but I mean, I certainly liked what I saw, so I lean that way at the current number. Really liked them when it was single digits.
All right, let's get to it. We'll try to keep the streak going. I hope I don't fuck it up. What do you have for a best bet?
I got a total. We're going Auburn, New Mexico over 61. And
baby.
thought process is Auburn off a dismal performance last week, 5 turnovers. They'll want to get it rolling, and I think they can get it rolling against the worst defense in the country by far, New Mexico. And then I also like New Mexico's ability to score late with Dampier at quarterback running around. So over 61. Auburn, as bad as they looked last week, I mean, they did put 70 on an FCS opponent in week 1. So they're capable of putting it on them. And Hugh Freeze is going to have to if he wants to calm some of the boosters down a little bit. So over 61, Auburn, New Mexico.
All right, a little earlier this time too. A nice 7:30.
I
There's
love
no late ones tonight.
I love the booster calm down thought process. Because you're exactly right.
This
You're
is
exactly right.
this is a little bit of a list game. Auburn off a loss playing a far inferior opponent. What's the spread?
28.
28. Okay. Kind of like first half.
Yeah, he'll try to pour it on them.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I like New Mexico's offense. I think it's legit. It's just look at them defensively. I mean, Montana State ran for 360 yards on them. Look at Arizona put up 61 points on New Mexico. And then Arizona.
New Mexico
the next week has
scored
6
in that
points
game,
at
though.
halftime against Northern Arizona.
Dude,
Yeah, New Mexico
31,
was scoring in that Arizona game. That was a
39.
shootout.
39, yeah. Dampier, the quarterback's, I mean, I say that and he'll probably break his leg in the first quarter, but he can run around and, he can make things difficult for any defense. I really like that kid for the Lobos.
Okay. I like that total as well. So, all right. So, we'll see if we can keep the streak going, Brad. Thanks.
Oh, man, you had to say that.
I had to. I gotta feed into the chat. I gotta feed into the narrative.
Yeah.
But we'll have you back next week. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Brad.
Well, thanks. I really appreciate that you'll have me back.
Yes. and then get this. Then the week after, the 23rd, I'm away again. So we'll see how
right.
So you miss me
Thank
again.
you, Rico. Good seeing you, buddy.
All right, buddy. Take it easy.
Thank you, Brad.
Yeah.
He's the best. He's the best.
That was amazing.
The setup too, like you say every time. I know we beat that into the ground, but like that's what
Always
you want.
incredible.
You want a guy doing hits with
And
the
also,
blinds.
anyone
Those blinds
not-
haven't been open in 10 years. But
Yeah, we talked about that last
Yeah.
week. Anyone not watching, listen, I never say you should watch this show, honestly. All right? If
You should
wanna
watch the show.
it, you should watch it. But if you're not watching it, you should be watching definitely on Thursday because that guy's smart. If you don't think we're smart with our picks, which
no, he was a big get.
he's smart.
He's a big get.
He's
I
a
knew he'd be
great-
good for the show. I think he's a
great
big
guy,
get.
Great picks. He knows. Dukes can sit back there and ask any game. He'll have an opinion on something
Yeah, it's
and
great.
know a
He
player.
does write-ups
enough.
on every single game.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
he knows every player. He's been watching this all year. That's a smart guy. It's nice to have him come in and educate us on some.
Of course.
It's like you kind of tune in. Like I'll be watching 6 games at a time. Like, and you can barely focus on some. You're paying attention to like 1 or 2 at most, and like the other thing's just background noise.
Yeah.
See, like a South Florida. Like I wasn't paying attention to all games of South Florida, Alabama. I've been like, this is like going back to last year with South Florida. I know minimal about them. You ask about South Florida, he knows everything about.
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. He also goes back and watches.
Yeah.
Because during the week on a Tuesday, you'll get a random tweet. Look at this. This was a big play in South Carolina, Sanford, or so whatever. It's like this was a big swing. He shows the plays of when the momentum goes. He knows misleading finals. There's a million different things.
Almost like there's a correlation to why he's so successful.
Yes.
Yes.
I have a question for you guys.
Study.
I missed the beginning of what did he talk about Miami by any chance?
He said Miami is going to be a great play to make the playoffs. If they win this week, especially, they'll be favored in every game.
Doesn't see how they could lose 2 or 3 with that schedule.
Minus 36.5. Did he talk about the spread at
No,
all?
he
Ball
didn't.
State? I think they're just going to pour it on them.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean they've been pounding teams.
Right. Like I just think it's like sending.
What do they
a message.
have? Ball State.
Yeah, and Ball State's pretty sneaky. Like for Ball State opponents, but I think
Right.
Miami's just obviously a different level. And the last time Mario Cristobal was with a quarterback like Cam Ward, it was Herbert.
Yeah.
And what did they just miss the playoff? They won
They
the
just
Pac-12?
missed it.
Yeah. Lost to Utah in the title
Yeah.
game. And then the other game that I want to ask you guys is the what was it? Ole Miss. Did he talk Ole Miss at all?
No.
Against Wake Forest.
Ole Miss last week should have went over. I was pissed about that. They scored 52 themselves, handled for a couple of field goals. I was very
Jackson
pissed.
Dart's stats. I don't know if you guys have seen this at all. Like his stat lines, like how many touchdowns. To, like,
Well, they've been
he has more
playing
touchdowns
slaps.
for sure. He has like more touchdowns than incompletions or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
he had
he's-
24 straight completions last week.
Yeah. And I don't know. Wake Forest. I saw them last week against Virginia.
Wake Forest seems like, maybe it's stereotypical. Wake Forest seems like an over team. Maybe because I remember that Army game where it was fucking. But Wake Forest seems like they're in a lot of fucking shootouts.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
Yeah, I
The
don't.
last couple of years, Wake Forest, but that was also when they had Hartman. So you got to remember they don't have Hartman.
Offensive minded coach too.
Yep.
I get what you mean though.
Yeah. So that's it.
I also know what you mean when like it's like I watched a game like 3 years. Like it's like Dave.
Yes.
Remember Dave talking about? He's like I feel like Troy and App State. On Pick'em, he's like, I think Troy and App State, like their rivalry game, like they always play each other close. He's like, Katie, what's the stats? And she like was like
58-10, 34-6.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
It's just you watch one game.
Yeah, you watch.
remember it.
He probably watched
Yeah.
one game in 05 and it was like a fucking.
That's how
dogfight.
everyone here gambles. It's not good, but it's how we do it.
How it works. Anything else jump out in terms of games for Saturday that you didn't
Well,
touch
it's
on?
upsetting. I think
What are you on?
it's just upsetting that it's not like there's nothing. First week was really good. Second week was boring. Like of games wise, obviously not boring like Notre Dame losing and shit. But then third week, there's not like a huge game coming. But I'm just upset about that, honestly. But I'm Boston College. That's my biggest bet so far.
I love BC. I
Same.
do. I think they're being almost. I think it's obviously going to be a public play, but you play FSU, and then you go to slap the shit out of like an inferior opponent. I think they're not getting the respect for how good they are, by any means.
Yeah.
I think they could win. I really.
That's why
do.
I said it.
They're hitting different.
That's why I said they live because I really think I'm thinking about sprinkling money line on it.
I'm punching myself in the face that I didn't take them money line against FSU, which I thought was going to happen. So like now I'm like for principle, I have to do it.
Yeah.
Castellanos, Heisman. This is
That
gonna
would be his moment.
He hit a home run yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Dude, he really does. It's actually that whole thing is kind of crazy. Unlike
No, the BC quarterback's name's Castellanos.
no, I understand, but Castellanos had a home run last night on 9/11. It's just like he keeps doing things.
Yeah.
Like he keeps doing things on days. It's unbelievable.
Except when OJ died.
Well, yeah, it's
The only time.
respect.
Yeah, respect.
This bad guy. Speaking of baseball,
Yeah, let's do a little baseball.
I'm going to Iowa Cubs this weekend with Eddie. Just a nice Iowa trip. Me and Eddie. I'm throwing out the first pitch. He's singing. I think Eddie's like coaching in the game, basically.
Really?
He's doing unbelievable. Anyone in Iowa, go check us out. I can't wait to see you. We had a great time in Iowa.
Iowa's a good city.
A fantastic city.
We only saw the bars, but it's a good city.
It was a
And
good time.
basketball.
Yeah, we saw
Basketball.
basketball.
But yeah, shout out to Iowa Cubs. I will see you tomorrow. But yeah, I was at the Yankees game yesterday. Wild game. I got to go on the field.
Cubs had a strong second half. I know they're not going to make the playoffs, but like
Yeah, five games. Yeah, five.
Cubs are
games
like
out.
Cubs had a good season.
Cubs had a very good. Well, not a very good season. It's a disappointing one with their how much they're paying people
Right.
on the roster this year. But they're 5 games out there, kind of done. It's just Mets and Braves.
Mets had a
basically.
fucking wild win yesterday. Did you see any of that?
I caught the highlights. Like
No hit through 8,
Hey, they won what? 6-1,
6-2.
6-2. Like what I took out of that game more than the no hitter coming back. Mania only giving up 1 run. Like the pitching staff is,
They're into form.
clicking.
Yeah, they're
It's clicking.
really for the last 20 games. I mean, they're the best record since May 30th, which is around the time he had the meeting. I'm pretty sure.
It's the exact day to meet.
the exact day of the meeting. Okay, yeah, there you go, Phil.
Phil, let me ask you a question.
They have the best record in the league.
Best record in the league.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that San Diego or Arizona drops out of the playoffs?
It's easily possible. It's
What-
4
I think
teams.
Clemmer said it was locked in. The Arizona, it's the San Diego. Like he's just locked in. They might not make the playoffs.
He said that a month ago, and I mean, to the Mets and Braves credit, the Mets went like on 11-2 in their last 13. Like it took a huge run by the Mets.
Yeah, but that's
to
just
put
what
this situation
that
happen.
always happens in baseball. Always,
Yeah.
teams get hot, and I can 100% see the Padres dropping out and the Mets and the Braves making the playoffs.
I could say the same thing about the Diamondbacks too. Like, the Diamondbacks have 7 games left versus the Brewers. Like I don't think any team is like completely safe.
No, I don't think
The
anybody.
Mets have the 7 against the Phillies and 3 against the Braves, and then 3 against Brewers. It's not the easiest.
The Padres still have they got to play the Astros. They got to play the Diamondbacks again at the end of the season.
You know who's playing good baseball right now?
Tigers.
If you're gambling, the Tigers are 3 games out. Did you know that?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
2?
And they have been sneaky for like this entire time.
It's always
guys
is
talk.
consistent, but
Well, they had the Cy Young winner
yeah.
right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Tate doesn't agree.
Tariq Skubal.
Oh yeah, I know him.
You know him. The Athletics betting are playing fantastic lately. They are like what they have 30 wins last year.
It's not 30.
They had more than 30 wins.
More than
What do you-
30 wins.
They didn't go 30 and 132.
Oh, they were bad.
It was in the 50s.
All right, well they're already at 65 wins this year. They're getting better.
I found something from DraftKings yesterday, by the way, that I just looked up really quick. Nick Castellanos was the second most bet player yesterday to hit a home
Hit
run.
home
That's
run.
not shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Number one was Aaron Judge.
Well, that's
That
just
makes sense.
always any day now. That honestly, yesterday, Soto like smashed it off his ankle and was on the field. Doctors heard like all over him. Gets back in the box, hits a 2-run home run.
That's sick.
It was one of the cooler things. And let me tell you, can I tell you the spread I had at this game yesterday?
Let's hear the spread.
-1.5.
Lobster, lamb chops, sushi.
Was this Legends Club?
It was too
Yeah,
much.
Legends Club's a lot.
It was exhausting.
a lot.
I had a devil dog yesterday.
Especially when you're like a poor. Like,
Yeah.
when you're poor and you get like the luxurious experience, like you're like, I'm taking advantage of this. Like
You
I
eat yourself
I-
into
I
it.
have
I was
to
sitting
have
there in the
every-
fourth
Yes.
inning like this. I was like,
My brother was like, "Oh my god."
yeah, you
Yeah.
start getting the meat sweats.
And also, you know who the pours are in there too, because a guy I was next to a guy in there. He brought his own bag. putting devil dogs, orders. He's putting all the snacks in his own bag.
Elite.
That's
elite
scumbag.
porn. That's
Crazy.
elite. Yeah,
bro.
that's top
At
tier.
that's elite poor or elite super rich.
Yes,
You don't know that.
Either one, true. But it was
Question.
crazy to
That's
watch
elite.
this guy
Top
just
tier
putting it in
porn.
a
That's
bag.
like even if you're rich, like that guy grew up poor.
Yes.
that
Yeah.
guy was poor at some point.
Bro, I couldn't believe all the devil dogs were gone.
Do you feel weird eating stuff like lobster at a baseball game? Doesn't it feel like a little out of place?
No, I didn't bring my lobster into the stadium.
Okay.
I don't care what anyone says too. There's a superiority complex.
No,
to
I'm
that.
just saying,
Like,
so-
when I was at the Legends Club and I was eating lobster, I was like 12 years old. I was like, I'm so much better than
I'd
you.
actually-
Yeah,
That's
of
the hot
course,
dog.
dude.
I
I
had
was
that
literally having the best time of my life. And I also sat in the chairs I sat in. I was 3 rows off the field. Shout out to Game Time.
Yep.
It was like the most comfortable I've ever been in a baseball game of all time. The guy next to me, the guy next to my brother went to the bathroom. He just started putting his peanut shavings all over my brother's teeth. And it was just like, I didn't care. I was laughing. I couldn't wait till my brother got back just to see it. And my brother, what the fuck?
We did that. We used to go to Hershey Park, and my dad would call the Harrisburg Senators to make sure they were in town the week we would go.
Yeah.
Bro, the Harrisburg Senators, no joke, were a powerhouse of a fucking organization. We saw Cliff Floyd, Vladimir Guerrero. There was one time he went down. He's like, go get the name from that scout. The fucking because scoreboard, it was just not. It wasn't names or anything. You got to remember. So the guy, he had a gun on him. He was throwing heat. He broke
remember the
6
story.
bats. Matt Wisenant made it to the bigs.
Yes, we pulled his name up. last
Yeah.
year.
We pulled it up. Yeah, exactly. So we used to go to Harrisburg, and there was nobody in, like, on a Tuesday night in July. There's not a lot of people at a AA game. We had the peanuts and the seeds. Bro, the seeds were everywhere, all over the metal bleachers. The guy had to keep coming and sweeping them up. My dad had to tip them at the end because we were the only ones making a fucking scene at this
Hey, you were
AA
Homer
game.
Simpson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
AAA, AA games, like independent games are that's why I'm excited to go tomorrow. Like check out new teams. Like also AAA is good baseball.
Minor league baseball.
Well, that's the mistake.
Yeah,
That's the
very
mistake they
fun.
made. If you ask me, like the Cyclones and the Staten Island Yankees being here, I know this is very inside baseball, inside New York, but they don't want to put a good product here because then people could go see it and shy away from the Yankees and Mets, the actual team.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's some bad baseball you're watching in that rookie league.
That's
It's some bad baseball, and the Staten Island Yankees already folded.
That's. So, do you remember? Do you see King of Staten Island? I just watched it the
Yeah.
when Bill Burr tells Pete Davidson, he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"I got season tickets to the Yankees." He's like, "You do? That's fucking sick." He's like, "Yeah, Staten Island." And then he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, I wouldn't pay season tickets for those prima donnas in the Bronx." Like, this is real. This is real baseball
This is
down
some
here.
it's some bad baseball. The stadium's already it's
Yeah, no,
it's crazy.
I'm excited to go, and yeah, but like the Legends, seriously, I thought that for a second. I'm like, man, I did kind of eat like a trash bag in there too. Like I had sliders, I had a hot dog too. Like I had
That's
everything.
normal baseball.
The hot
Yeah.
dog. The hot
Gotta
dog.
get a
that's
hot
different.
dog at a
saying,
baseball
like,
The
I-
hot dog's different though.
It's an upper class hot dog.
Yeah, it has a snap to it.
Gotta get a
Yeah.
hot dog.
Before you guys hop into the Thursday night football game, I wanted to call back something that happened on the program with Brad. Rico, when you gave out Bama and Brad laughed at you, it kind of reminded me of something that happened last week at this exact program when Clemmer took the Chiefs and everybody laughed at him. Does anyone remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of like square play left, and Clemmer came in fucking running it down everyone's throat that he was right, so you can bring that same energy if you want. I'll tell you that.
No, he's gotten that. Like, we have a relationship. I've texted him a ton of times about road favorites.
Yeah.
That's just like, you can't kick your habits. That's the one I got.
I think
And it's usually pretty heavy. Like 16 is a big one. So
they're addicting.
it is what it is.
It's like you look at a team and like, oh, Alabama.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, it's more of a play against Wisconsin.
I
watched this
understand.
Wisconsin
No,
team.
but there's also Alabama against Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That beat the shit out.
Right. Plus, Alabama didn't give their best effort last week. Maybe they come a little more dialed in. The thing I'm worried about is a noon
DeBoer wins everywhere.
Yeah, I'm worried about a noon kickoff. I am. I'm definitely worried about the noon kickoff.
Why do you get worried about that?
Just sleepwalking. You could always have a team. Like, I just feel like weirder shit happens at noon than it does at night.
I actually so much agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that like the Texas-Michigan game was just slower at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
If it was at 7:30.
Fox also, they should really kick the game off at 12 o'clock.
Never do it.
They kick it off at 12:15, 12:30. It's killing us. We should do this exercise or revisit it. How many teams can win the World Series? How many teams can win the World Series?
Do the Thursday Night Football preview. Let's go to the Thursday.
What? We do this question every week.
Every week.
Every week.
We're not doing
As
it.
a-
No, the Mets are not going. The Mets are not going to win the World Series, no matter how 11-2 runs they make.
I'm not trying to put the Mets in.
You're not trying to shoot the Mets in.
Absolutely not.
Why are we doing
I am
the World
very
Series
much-
right now?
We're not doing this exercise.
Because you talked about teams making the playoffs. I just wanted to touch on it real
Well,
quick.
there's 5.
I agree with that. I think it's
more
the
than
heavy
5.
favorites.
I think the Mets can win the World Series.
Thank you. I think we
Don't
can
know
too.
that.
I don't think so.
Give me a reason.
They're hot. It's
Yeah.
baseball. Anything can
Exactly.
happen.
If the Mets are this hot going into the playoffs, they will scare me. But there's a month to go.
But that's the thing. It's almost too early.
Yeah.
You know, like they had to get hot to make the playoffs, and
Exactly.
then it slows down when you're
Exactly.
exhausted. Bro.
Yeah.
They
Like,
remind me of like the Phillies a couple years ago when they won the World Series.
Well,
but the Phillies. But this is what happens when they won the World Series. The
and they
Phillies,
played that song that they stole from the Red Sox.
Phillies, Yankees, Dodgers, and the Orioles have been consistent the entire year. They
that's
have,
just
You know
not
who,
true at
you-
all.
wait, okay, top of the standings, yes, and there's one more team you're forgetting in that argument that is going to blow that argument up. Milwaukee Brewers have the same exact.
Yes.
consistent.
And the Guardians
They've
have been
been consistent.
consistent.
Yeah, but it
Guardians have been
can-
How have
consistent.
they been
Brewers.
consistent all year if there was
How-
like a 2-month stretch where they were both bad?
The Guardians have been consistent.
They have been in first place the entire year.
Not, one or the
Second
other.
place, not. Yeah,
That's
what
not-
I'm-
That's not saying they're in
That's
first
not
place all
consistency.
year.
Yes, it is, bro. Consistency is being 20 games above 500 basically the entire year.
But the Phillies were 35 games above 500 at one point and went down to 20 games above 500. That's not consistency.
But the consistent is being in first. The Phillies have been first the entire year.
The Phillies and Dodgers have been consistently
that's-
good all year.
I think you're. Yeah.
That's you're construing the word of consistent. Like obviously, consistent actually means staying the same way the entire year. Being in first place is consistency.
Yes.
That's what I mean. Like where it's like they haven't really fell off. They haven't fell off.
They had bad stretches,
Have-
but
everyone-
they've stayed in
like,
first place.
You can't not have a bad
Both can be-
stretch in-
both can be true.
in base. That's what I mean. Yeah,
Both can be true.
I think both can be true. Where these teams have been the top teams all year.
Both can be
Even
true.
if you say they've been on a bad stretch, you know what I mean, Phil?
Both can be true.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, there's a stretch of the last 3 months where Yankees and Orioles are a 500 team off of,
But
the early starts would carry them.
everyone not really carried though. You know, like you're still in first place.
You are, but you're also built a good cushion in April and May.
But no one else has even been doing like in the AL. Who has been even close? to
Guardians.
Well, I
Guardians
mean,
have the same record.
They
as
also
Yankees.
went down. They had a bad stretch too.
Yeah.
I mean, since early May, the Astros have one of the best records in baseball. Are you going to call them consistently good?
From May to September is pretty fucking consistent.
Okay. So why not
So
throw
there
them
you
in
go.
there?
Whenever I get the okay, I win because you're a fucking.
So can you just
can't
throw
have
them in there?
Like me and Smitty just had a normal conversation. And
That was
an
not
argument.
normal. You were yelling at each other.
No, but
That's
then he
normal.
said we both see each other's side.
That is
normal for us.
That is also normal for
For the
us.
show, you just condescend and be like, "It's not you. You do the clemmer and pick little things that just
Because I disagree.
I feel more normal.
Kind of
yelling.
wrong. I do too,
Yeah.
honestly.
Okay, here's the list. If the playoffs started tomorrow,
I can't believe we're doing the fucking.
Here are the teams that
can't
can.
believe
Do
we're doing
not.
We have a Thursday night football game. We're doing the list. Of
All right. I just asked.
There's,
Just asked.
you got at least 20 ball clubs.
Yeah.
Do you want to run through the schedules?
Hey, putting this one out there though on the DraftKings Sportsbook, Phillies to beat the Yankees plus 1,800 right now.
Bosco, how about
I
this
like
too?
that. I like that.
Next
I
week
like them
on
being
Tuesday or
in there.
Wednesday, we can run through.
All right. I just
We can run through the exercise.
didn't know who changed because the Guardians weren't on that list. I think you kind of have to put them on there now.
I don't think you can.
Want to do Bosco's? Just let Bosco. Just run through your teams. No debate.
No.
No debate.
No debate. All right. Let's
wait.
go into tonight.
Really quick before tonight, it's an NFL stat that we have to. That it was tough.
Dukes.
Oh my
Oh
god.
shoot!
What? Yeah, that's let's wait for that for tomorrow. Oh, I want the Jets fan to be here.
We can bring it back up.
We
This
have
is
a
just
trip tomorrow.
this
No,
is
it's
just-
bad. It's really bad.
This is just
I
hilarious.
did 300.
Oh, that's
yards.
weird, but I was told that in 2022 he was fucking off his tits with the Green Bay Packers going under 500 and not making the playoffs. But he'll definitely bounce back this year with a torn Achilles. Yeah. Fucking loser, Clemmer.
It is kind of crazy. You are right, Smitty, where it's like when we talk about certain other quarterbacks that like come off an injury. It's like, no, we have to be careful with them. But Aaron Rodgers, who's 40 and a pretty bad injury, who hasn't been very good.
He wasn't good that year. He just wasn't good.
We're like, he'll bounce back easily, which is crazy. And he also just didn't look – he looked fine on Monday.
If we could bet –
he didn't look exceptional.
Like Clemmer's bet of the day that day was Aaron Rodgers under 2.5 rushing yards for the day. Obviously, he didn't,
Over it was.
or over. Yes, obviously it didn't hit. It was -1 for the day. We all won money. Besides him, but if that was placed for the season right now, I don't think he's getting over 2.5 yards on the season. He cannot run vertically to the line of scrimmage without getting tackled.
I get your point. I mean, there's going to be one play where you say it
Probably.
facetiously for sure, but there's going to be a play where he scrambles off. But you're right. He doesn't look mobile.
Plus over 2.5 yards for the season. You put plus 1,000. Like, I might take that. Seriously.
You really didn't. You didn't dance on his grave as much as you could have.
No.
For how
Why, what was he
easy
saying?
that bet hit.
Oh, he cannot even like waddle to the like it's and the play calls are going to be designed in certain ways of him just be in the pocket and sling it, and he will have success in that way because that's the only way he can have success now. But he cannot move past the line of scrimmage. He just can't after watching that game.
He gets the Eli Manning thing where he's getting a little pressure, he's just going to go down instead of getting like.
Which is smart too. Like I don't blame him for that.
No, you should, but like that does limit you, like you're saying, because like he can't run.
Right.
Well, Rico's also correct. There'll be
It'll be a weird play. I get what you're saying.
We'll get 20 yards and there goes the bet.
But let me tell you
course.
something. That'd be a fun bet.
It would be.
Would be.
What about like?
He's already -1 on the year.
What about this? What about
Going
if
the
it
right
was
direction.
like if it was 8 yards? 8 yards for the season.
Well, what is over under rushing yards for the season right now? If you can take that,
You think he plays? You think he plays next year? Being bigger picture.
I think I think if he
Let's say they go like the Jets go like 8-9, or they make the playoffs at 9-8, but it never really gets going.
I think if he
You think he packs it in?
if he clearly doesn't have it, he'd be stupid not to. Put it that way.
Aaron Rodgers under 2.5 rushing yards on the DraftKings Sportsbook is -125 for Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think they have a year.
Yeah, gotcha. Who do they play?
Titans.
Titans. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it every week.
Titans-
Put it on my card. Put it on my week.
They're on the
You
card.
should take it
Roll
every
the card.
week. You should
Titans
take it every-
defense is good too, so I think they're a good defense. No?
No, yeah, I just had a
Yeah, they have a
I
good
just had a
defense.
thought run through my head.
What was that?
No, it's not good.
The Titans defense is so good that the
Say
Chicago.
it now. Now you got to
Imagine
say
the
it.
Patriots are the ones that took down Rodgers.
Okay.
God. You're right. You should have kept that.
Marty, the Titans defense is so good. Their head coach said if they just punted it on 1st and 10 every single
Bro,
single
can you
down,
might have
they'd
won.
win.
Can you imagine saying that about your team in the first game?
Who's the backup for Levis?
I don't know now because Malik Willis is on the Packers.
Yeah.
Who's the backup for Levis? Because Levis ain't the guy, but they
Yeah.
have to play him.
Who they
because
should.
God.
You know who should be
Mitch.
the quarterback?
Mitch?
No, it's not. No, Mitch is on. Isn't? I thought Mitch was on the.
It's Mitch.
Mason Rudolph.
Mason
Mitch
Rudolph.
is on the Bills.
That's not the worst backup either.
You know who should be the quarterback? Ryan Tannehill.
He's on his couch.
Yeah.
I know, Phil.
Just making sure it's out there.
Or Mike White.
I don't.
Rolled the dice on Mike White.
Look,
Where did
I
Mike?
thought Mike White was good in what he showed.
I don't mind them giving Will Levis the chance at least at the beginning of the season this year.
Right. No, you have to give a guy like
They're
that.
not going to
shot.
be that good. Like if you put Tannehill out there, it's a suicide mission
Yeah.
on the Titans. But
Right.
you put Tannehill on a team like the Jets.
They don't have a terrible receiving core. Like I know they're old. Like DeAndre Hopkins is obviously old, but like was it Boyd and Ridley?
They got some names, but none of them are good players.
Yep.
Is Ridley just completely done? Like is he
He
just?
might be over the hill.
They all stink, but you all know their names.
God, he just took a bag. He took a
Yeah, I
bag
was
to
gonna
go.
say he's
No,
been.
he took a bag just to go play with Will Levis. Like that's like you kind of signing up for what you signed
Yep.
up for.
He knows
yeah,
what he's
I don't
getting
think he
into.
stinks.
Who?
Ridley.
No, he doesn't. I'm saying like
Yeah.
He doesn't stink, but it's not a great situation.
right.
That's the
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Where like Tannehill maybe can do some. Like I just think Will Levis is too jacked to play quarterback.
Will Levis is also good to like be like to DeAndre Hopkins. Like let me
Oh.
just throw it up to you.
DeAndre Hopkins is washed. We had the Cooper Cup debate. DeAndre Hopkins is washed.
Thanks, Phil.
All right.
I don't know what.
Shots fired, DeAndre Hopkins. We should
No,
just
he's
clip,
also
clip
probably
that.
yeah,
fine.
clip that and just send it to DeAndre Hopkins.
I sometimes think, imagine being DeAndre Hopkins and hearing that. I'd be so.
Oh my
care.
God!
I don't care what happens.
Quiggs, send that clip, put it over the Livy Dunn photo, and put it out there.
Quiggs is a magician.
You don't think Hopkins is washed?
No, obviously he's like not DeAndre Hopkins anymore, but Meek Phil calling DeAndre.
We just had to
Hopkins
Cooper Cup debate.
I will say this.
Because Cooper Kupp was not.
I know, but
washed.
I will say
that was a little mean. Just out of
No one was
nowhere.
talking about DeAndre
Nobody-
Hopkins.
We're talking about the
Said it.
Titans wide receivers.
No, we were done talking about that.
I will say this. If Hopkins gets released, where would he be a absolute star?
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
No,
Figure
no,
it out.
Receiver you.
When
Fucking figure it out.
When I saw Juju back on Kansas City, I didn't know that happened. And when he dropped that pass last week, I was like, thank fucking God.
Yeah, it's a fucking time
If he
machine
goes
over
to
there.
Kansas City and fucking like wins like Super Bowl MVP, dishes and nothing. I will be so
It's
goddamn
crazy, dude. They just fucking find guys like.
I know it gets like they are the Patriots.
Yeah.
Like just like, oh, someone doesn't work out on this situation, let's bring them back over here. Like,
Let's
it's
make it
fucking
work
insane.
out.
Let's talk about tonight.
Let's talk about tonight.
Because I am a little nervous about. I do feel like a lot of people that I'm seeing on Twitter. I know that's not everything, but is on the Bills with myself.
A lot of people are on the Bills.
I like the Bills.
The Sharps are on the under right now, which I can't. I'm not gonna be able to do.
I cannot watch. this
Not
game.
this game on the
Can't
under.
do it.
Yeah.
I can't. I simply cannot do it and watch that game. It's just more like you watched the Dolphins last week against the Jaguars. They didn't look great. They obviously won. They didn't look great. They obviously also had a lot going on before the game. The Bills were in a dogfight with the Cardinals. I don't know. I think the Cardinals are better than people are saying, I guess. I think a lot of people are on that same side now, but I don't know. I'm going Josh Allen's just way better than Tua.
A lot better.
That's
How
what
do
I'm
you
saying.
feel about Josh Allen being 6-0 on Thursday Night Football?
Love that. Make it 7-0.
He also tears apart the Dolphins.
Yeah, he loves beating up the Dolphins.
I parlay Dalton Kincaid to score a touchdown with Josh Allen's passing yards.
I love that.
I like that a lot.
I like Shakir for a touchdown.
Those odds, you know.
That's my only play. Bills. I'm on.
400? Love that.
I'm on the Bills and Shakir for a touchdown.
I'm on the Bills, and I have Coleman for a touchdown.
Oh,
think
I like
he's-
that.
Yeah, he's 2.
Everybody gets
Wow,
a touchdown.
look
Let's
at
do
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Frank stream. The Frank stream.
Yeah, I'm leading into the stream, so the fellas will be on the stream tonight.
Yeah, so Frank's got the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Should be fun.
He
Who do you like for a touchdown?
I like Kincaid.
Yeah.
I do like that. I think.
So are you
That's
on
Jerry's
Bills
play
too?
too for the signs.
Yeah, gun to head.
You know what I
think it's
mean?
gonna be- the Bills are pretenders sometimes too, but like, I can't.
He looked different this year.
It does.
He looked like he was.
Dolphins should be so much better than what they are.
Oh my God.
They're at home. I could see a freak game a little bit.
Also,
Am I crazy? I don't want to root for that coach. The coach is a little too much for me.
You don't like him?
I-
They get a little too Miami.
he makes me laugh because of how
He's a-
Miami he's
Yeah.
at.
Clown.
Like I don't really love him. I like the Dolphins.
Got good
should-
sunglasses.
The Dolphins should be like one of the funnest teams to watch in the NFL, and they're sometimes just not. Like they were frustrating to watch. Achan's out. Mostert is like banged up.
Achan's definitely out.
I'm pretty sure he's out. It seems like he was.
God, what's
Is
like
that confirmed?
what's like
Could be
Jeff
wrong.
Wilson touchdown?
No, because Mostert's out.
Oh, Mostert's out.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mostert's out.
Mostert's out.
Mostert's
Achan's
out.
banged
Achane
up.
was
Missed
banged
it worked
up.
out.
Switch that up. Yeah, but that's not great for them.
Well, with the coach, and I don't hate I don't hate him. I like him, but he was crowned a little too early.
McDaniel,
Yeah,
he's a great offensive mind.
he is, but I mean, there are a lot of people that just blow him for not really doing much
I tend to disagree.
of having a success on the field. Playoffs.
Playoff. I agree.
Okay.
I look. This is why I think Shanahan
Like he was kind of being treated like McVay, but McVay has the resume.
right. I think with like Shanahan with Purdy, right? I think McDaniels came in with Tua. I think that Tua and Brock Purdy are actually more comparable than people give them credit. I think Purdy's actually a better version of Tua. Tua without elite wide receiver core, we've seen it. He sucks. Like he straight up stunk. He was 1 year away from being out of the league. McDaniels revigorated or like reignited Tua's career. Brock Purdy's the same way. Like we've seen him with elite talent, but we haven't seen him without like elite wide receiving core. But like I think Shanahan's been able to like guys or like lead Brock Purdy to success. Like just as like McDaniels with Tua. I don't know. I think Purdy's like an elite Tua.
I don't hate that comparison.
I really thought about it the other night. I was like
Yeah, I could tell
Tua,
you. Really
Tua,
I know when Dukes is.
When do
thinking
you
late at
think
night.
about this?
during the
lot.
Monday during the game, I was like, wow,
During the game?
they kind of have like they're comparable quarterbacks. One's righty, one's lefty. One can play in the cold, one can't. Who are you gonna take?
You've thought about that more than mine.
I didn't know if this was a Duke shower thought or something.
No, like Marty talking about like the Titans and the rushing yards. Like I just looked at him and my eyes like open. I was like, oh my god, Rodgers, Patriots, Clemmer, misery,
All right.
despair.
So plays for tonight. What are you on?
I'm gonna tweet out my full card later, but I am on the Bills. I'm on Coleman touchdown, and I'm taking a little bit of a flyer on James Cook rushing yards, 80 plus 235.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was a workhorse last week,
I think that
but
they're
he just
gonna
doesn't
try
get the
and-
goal line looks.
that's what I'm saying though. But like, I don't even need to touch.
Watch him score this week now.
It's more. I haven't done my end zone crown yet. I'm gonna wait till Saturday. Smitty, you have to take 2, right?
I got to take 2 as well.
Both have to take 2.
I'm going chalk.
It's not. You have to.
Oh yeah,
You literally have to.
Oh God, yes.
I'm going Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I mean
That's who I
makes- You might as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait a little bit. I don't want my.
Well, it's a
Thursday
play
night
against
game.
the Panthers, and then I'll have something to watch Monday, obviously.
Yeah.
But Saquon's like 205, minus 205 to score a touchdown. So we'll see.
Nate was the longest odds winner.
Yep,
last
Nate's the winner, so he'll be on. He has to be a touchdown scorer. He has a $1,000 bonus bet.
on Monday, right?
Monday night, he'll be streaming, which will be great for Nate. 3 hours and 8. Hopefully, the guy either scores it right away or goes
I'm
out
excited
first
for Nate
quarter.
on the stream.
Why does it have to be a guy? Why can't it be a team?
You think he might bet defense to score a touchdown?
Been talking to the dog a little bit.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of the defense.
Wow.
I've heard of a lot of the defensive scores.
Wow. Defensive score?
Yeah.
You know, that was a screamer last week. The Vikings to score a touchdown would have been a nice little value play. Hindsight's 2020,
What a
but
ricochet shot.
it's a ricochet
really.
shot.
We almost got through the whole show.
I know.
without
It was
That's what it is.
it was a pick 'em in like, oh man,
that was an obvious
the
one.
Vikings should
It was it was worth it. It was worth the shot. I'm on the Bills and I'm on Shakir to score a touchdown tonight. Smitty.
I'm on the Bills money line. I'm on Kincaid. And I have a
Dukes
couple,
just keeps pulling up stats, so we have to take the Bills.
yeah. I'm on the Bills money line, and I'm on Kincaid touchdown.
Okay. Dukes, anything.
Read this.
Tua Tagovailoa, 7 career games against the Bills. 1-6 record, 207 passing yards a game, 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
And we know this, though, too, like, not even against the Bills, like, against good teams.
Frank's going to be dialed in tonight.
The only
What does
reason
dialed in mean? Like
He's going to be
terrible?
on level 10.
Yeah, that's going to be bad.
Yeah, but so
He also won
So
this
will I.
game. He also won this game to be here. So
Yeah.
it's going to be even louder.
I still think the Bills are a letdown team at times, and I still think the Dolphins are night and day-ish at home compared to the road. So that's why I would give the Dolphins maybe some consideration.
Wait, you
I'm
said
betting the
Dolphins are what? Sorry?
Night
Like
and day at home.
it's at night and day home compared to the road.
Yeah.
Night and day at home.
Yeah, I mean it's week 2 too, so like the game means nothing really. So yeah, the Dolphins definitely have a chance.
No, seriously.
No, I'm like not.
You're 100%.
Oh, I know you're. Obviously, they have a chance. They're favorites.
It's the biggest. This team is like the biggest joke ever. Like the fact
You
that like
hate the Dolphins.
it's just hilarious to me that like given like this like even the Bills have actually like made it to like I don't even think Josh Allen's been like necessarily successful in the playoffs, but more successful than the Dolphins.
he's
the
success-
the fact that this is like the Dolphins' peak in the last 20 years is the funniest thing of all goddamn time.
The Josh Allen's is successful in the playoffs, just not against Patrick Mahomes.
Against good quarterbacks. his playoff wins are against really bad people.
But isn't it always against Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow? Is it just them two?
Potentially, but
I think it's literally just them two he's lost to, which is
I'd have
it's-
to look into it.
you're-
But if you go look at the court,
it's right. I think I'm agreeing with you,
Yeah,
but
I
like
think we're on
it
the same
is
page.
just kind of.
Let's just shit on Tua. Tua is a joke.
Yeah,
Tua is a joke.
Tua is a joke.
Like Mike McDaniels, I feel bad for him because with like an elite quarterback, he's probably a Super Bowl winner.
Somebody elite good quarterback.
Tua is wasting.
Tua led the league in passing.
Yes, but with elite wide receivers.
You still have to get it to him.
I know. I'm so on this. I'm with both of you on this.
Like I'm not saying you have
I
to.
think Mike McDaniels has made two. Mike McDaniels has made Tua more than Tua has made Mike McDaniels.
Dukes, I'm not saying you should be calling him elite, but you shouldn't be calling him just a trash bag who can't play.
Who would you rather have, Brock Purdy or Tua?
It would depend on my system.
Talent-wise, it's the same
Tua.
exact system.
Talent-wise, I'd probably take Tua.
See,
He
I don't
led
think-
the league in passing.
I do not
I don't
think-
care who he's throwing.
Yeah,
to.
but Purdy doesn't have to lead the league in passing. I'm not.
Yeah, because he has a fucking run
Right,
game
exactly.
in which
The
you
Dolphins'
could
run game is
run
also
through.
pretty goddamn elite.
It
It's the
is.
same
It
exact
is.
offense as it was in San Francisco.
Right.
It's you basically take it's the same thing.
Yeah. It's fair.
I don't know. I'm a
It's
Tua
gonna be
hater.
It's gonna be.
Because we've just seen Tua. We've seen Tua. He sucks.
It's gonna be a good one
without
tonight.
Tyreek. He sucks.
gonna be a good
he
one
was
tonight.
awful.
Yeah. It's going to be a good one tonight. I'm excited. Thursday Night Football is the first, I know the opening season, it's opening in the year. It seems like they're running off, the great one. So we'll just keep it rolling. It's going to be a good one. Plus Frank in the building, obviously dialed in. It's going to be good. Phil, you have a pick to close us out?
Bills money line and Keon Coleman touchdown.
Keon Coleman.
Also, Tigers -1.5 and 3 scruples on the mountain. And he's going for the side.
I also can't wait for the Germany game for the Panthers Giants. So I'll just go watch that together.
Is that this week? No. Oh, come on.
All right, Yak's up next.